Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to another exciting episode of Colney Talk Podcast, your bite-sized breakdown show. I'm your host, Alex. First-time listeners, glad to have you here. And to my returning listeners, thank you for sticking with me. As always, I talk a bit about the Arsenal match and pick out my top 3 Arsenal players who shined and one odd player not good enough I get to call out. This match against Nottingham Forest straddled between admiration and exasperation. The 0-0 draw hovered between defensive showcase and some unknown expectations. I don't know about you folks, but I wasn't sure how to describe my feeling leading up to this match. I mean, I didn't expect a repeat of West Ham's embarrassment, but I also didn't know who would step up a bit more and give something to get a win. So that made me watch this game with a bit of indifference, sorry to say. Although I was not thinking a loss. No, so I would say this draw was kind of like a fair result. Wouldn't you agree? So, first half was all about structure without sting. The few good things: first, defensive organization. Arsenal's backline operated like the respectable unit that they are. Saliba and Big Gabby positioned themselves as roadblocks, cutting off passing lanes and squeezing out Chris Wood from most of the game. Like when Wood's early breakaway was snuffed out by Big Gabby's perfectly timed sliding tackle, a reminder of what he was up against. It was going to be a physical battle there. Another positive, the midfield control was much better. Perhaps it was the right matchup because Jorginho's reintroduction brought methodical distribution. He completed 94% of his first half passes, recycling possession, maintaining tempo and to bypass Forest's press and remove any chance of them trying to swarm and counterattack. Then what I would consider the best highlight of the first half, Calafiori's near miss. That guy's meridian run and curled effort against the post was the lone spark of ingenuity. Everything about that play was about taking a chance without hesitation. A fullback's channeling his inner winger, and I know he has it in him, and we would like to see a lot more. But I wouldn't want to make it sound negative, but it's the plays that we would carry without hesitation that gives us better outlook. And that's a good example. Then the unfortunate parts of the first half. Final third paralysis. I mean, for all the 68% possession, yes, we're going against a low block midfield and the way that they had to stay in a compact formation. I'm not talking about Arsenal walking in to score, but we simply did not muster a shot on target apart from that Calafiori's attempt. Trossard drifted into promising zones but delivered overcooked crosses, while Ødegaard's passes into the box lacked much threats. So this felt like that was what we had to deal with. And then Merino's square peg role, he, as the false nine, often had to drop too deep, leaving no focal point, which was him, quite frankly. And his heat map, if you look at it, it did resemble a center midfield's heat map, not a striker. I guess he was forced to connect at a lower point for that to happen. It is what it is. I mean, he did his best, and he had to get those connections. 6 first half corners yielding nothing. I mean, that were the chances that we could have gotten something out of besides the other attempts that we tried to make, which didn't get to those shots. But Arsenal tried to get their best into something, but, we had to wait for more. And as the first half whistle blew, the dichotomy was clear. Arsenal's defense had answers for every Forest's plan as far as defensive plays go, but attacking, they forgot the questions. I mean, halftime substitutions, Tierney for Calafiori, that suggested a shift to a more traditional width, which at this point I was open to see how it looked and maybe give room for other plays to kind of evolve. So as the second half started, I gotta say I was pleased because Tierney injected a bit of energy and snappy plays to get better motion going forward. His crosses were coming in really sharp and fast, didn't have, again, hesitations there, and that caused Forest to defend a bit more because they had to be alert. That's how we looked for a while. And then things start shaking up in different ways. Saliba's recovery was the defensive highlight that you could remember from this game. That 71-minute sprint to dispose Chris Wood, I think it was clocked at 21 miles per hour. That was amazing. It was a clinic in emergency defending. That really was a good recovery from Saliba after the lost control from his first touch. At least that is a brilliant way for me to enjoy the game. But I think more so to the point, the upside that stole Ødegaard's late fury as Arsenal's best late chance of the match. Better off that the ball could have gotten into the net than those incredible blocks, because it was tough to just imagine those chances going through. And yes, we saw the flag for offside, but I'm pretty sure if he went in, it would have given the team a lift or a bit more confidence that they could have gone harder and tried to get a win or score a goal. Then the painful parts of the second half, predictability in possession. You've heard this before. Arsenal's left side overloads became telegraphed. Forest's low block funneled wide plays, which we try to make the best out of. Content to watch crosses sail harmlessly into Forest's gloves. I mean, hesitation, again, to me, is not the answer to low blocks. Over dribbling makes it one-dimensional. Yes, we're kind of that, but even much more than the obvious. I wish we would stop that. We have some players that can help reduce that. I mean, again, you would see the kinds of plays and crosses that Tierney was delivering. It made it such a snappy move and didn't give each player time to reset and defend. It doesn't help, nor does it present any form of fear if we keep doing those start-stop defending, dribbling and driving to the box. I mean, we all know that. Everyone is to expect that from Arsenal. When players are out of position and the player for Arsenal has a solo chance to drive and shoot, it makes everything really hot and scary for them. But then the start-stop, waiting for players to return and get more players in the box, I know that's really how a team would play and create something, but at least drive solo, make an attempt and get things going, because we were finding it difficult to get anything, and it clearly sends a different message if we keep doing that. Arsenal's defensive foundation, which is really highlighted by Saliba's dominance, Big Gabby's anticipation and how he was clearing and making that left side his own, deserved better. I mean, we did a lot to enjoy their defensive play. It was a performance that I can describe as, what we expect, but not more that we could have gotten in front. Not even having more shot attempts, it drops confidence than raise one. And I think you could generate those shots with fewer hesitations. Yeah, including the ones that were blocked, because we had a lot more blocked than we had the attempts. So again, as I said, it's an acceptable result for me, but there's only so much we can expect with the way they continue to play. But as I look at the bright side of this, 14 clean sheets this season, joined with the best in the Premier League, is a big deal and something to acknowledge. Merino's versatility is admirable and will pay off at some point, but square pegs don't fill round holes, and it's going to be a long drag until we find some spark. There are different ways that we can raise that confidence, and some of these hesitations and playing styles right now, we need to shift it and make it fit for Merino and give a little bit more for the team to go and get some good wins, at least with scores from that. Now, moving on to my top 3 players that stood out in this match. First player, Saliba. He managed to neutralize Chris Wood's physicality winning 7 out of his 8 aerial duels. One huge second half recovery sprint, clocked faster than Forest's wingers, is indeed special. It was good when he did anticipate Morgan Gibbs' through ball in the first half. He was itching to go forward a few times when he had the ball, which gave him confidence, and that's, the brilliance of his quality. And I mean, that gave him more range in this match, and it really was a great performance from him. Second player, Big Gabby. He was the other Punisher clamping down on Wood. He was so happy to get that physical battle going. He was good when they shifted formation a bit, causing Calafiori to move up midfield while breaking lines with passes to Ødegaard and Trossard that bypassed 3 defenders. So again, he had his shine rather. Not to mention his physicality. We had enough to go around in this game. 11 clearances was a good day in the defensive books, and there's nothing more you can look beyond that. Third and final player, Jerome Timber, took care of Hudson-Odoi's threat, holding down the winger to 0 successful dribbles on the right. It's a stark contrast to the previous meeting that, Forest had, which says a lot to our defending. It was good when he did overlap intelligently a few times in the first half, and then crossing for Waneri to get in the ball as well. He did try to get some attacking plays in the first half, and it grew more into that second half as well. I thought Timber was playing with a bit more freedom because he was another midfielder trying to keep a good fluidity on the right, which pinned Forest back. So a lot of credit goes to him. 4 interceptions in all transition movements where Forest sought to exploit our high line is a good thing that he brought. So I guess this was a game for our defenders, and they did shine really well. Now, on the other hand, I don't really think there was anyone that had a bad performance worth calling out. We saw a few of them. We know our limitations. It's frustrating, but it's more or less incomplete. So that's how I see it. Arsenal's defense impressed, but their attack has, tried. That's how I'm just going to leave it. It's more of the team to continue finding the right players to step in for the moments, because it's all about defensive A+, attacking D-. The imbalance will be what it is until we find some formula or shift that we can manage to get us through until we get back. But we keep going. All right, that will do for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, if you enjoyed today's, like, subscribe, and share with your fellow Gunners. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.